Hey there, and welcome back to Local Marketing Secrets. I'm your host, Danny Leibrandt, and today I'm with Claudia Tomina. Claudia is the founder and CEO of Reputation Arm and one of the most respected experts in local SEO and Google Business Profiles. She's a platinum Google Business Profile product expert, a contributor to Search Engine Land, and more recently, local search ranking factors, and a trusted advisor to businesses trying to rank in the map pack and fix the trickiest local SEO issues, and in particular, restaurants. So if you want real insights into Google's local ecosystem and how it works, what's changing in local search, and how to build a bulletproof online reputation, this episode is for you. Now, without further ado, Claudia, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, Danny. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Claudia, talk to me about your background. How did you get started in local SEO and then eventually start Reputation Art?
So actually, I used to be really big in e-commerce. I was like selling on Amazon before Prime even existed, and ended up selling my business. And in the middle, I was kind of just looking at different businesses, and I decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dabble into marketing, and I started shadowing at an agency of a family relative, and then we decided that we were gonna create Reputation Arm, which would be like the reputation management portion of his agency. And so, yeah, we started there, we connected, and now we're building a SaaS platform that helps like multi-location businesses, big brands, mainly restaurants, generate reviews so that they can rank better. And then through that whole process, I learned how to optimize Google Business Profiles, what really gets them ranking. I've been dabbling in like a lot of tests and, ranking features, just always looking at Google Maps and how to do that. And I became a Google product expert along the way. And that really like changed things and helped me evolve to even be a better SEO. So it's been great. The community's been so welcoming. I've been doing this for 6 years now. And so it's been really wonderful.
Yeah, talk to me about becoming a product expert. What was that like? What's the process?
Yeah, I mean, I had an issue with a client that like started getting bombarded with negative reviews. And I found the forum and I posted there, and then I think it was Jason, he was on your show recently.
Yeah.
He helped connect me to another product expert that escalated it. And so I kept checking the forums. And so while I was doing that, I was like, I can answer all these questions. So I started answering the questions, and then I was like, let me see if, I could go down this path of being a product expert. And I noticed that a lot of great names like Joy and Ben Fisher and all these guys were product experts. So I thought, let me try this. And it's actually been so rewarding. Like you help so many small businesses all over the world, and people are so grateful for your help. And a lot of times, like you're in a position to really like help this business. Like you almost feel like obligated, like you cannot like leave them. So it's really satisfying. It's helped me evolve as an SEO. It's been a wonderful time.
Yeah, awesome.
And then
What
we
are
get to
some
do
of the
cool things like fly to Dublin for the Google events. So
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. Um,
yeah,
Tell me, what are some of the biggest problems that people have faced? Like, is there just a recurring thing that people are always asking in the forum?
right now it's all about suspensions and verifications.
Mm.
So verifications is a big one, because people are trying like multiple times and they're failing. So just like kind of guiding them through the process. And a lot of times it's like they could be doing all the right things, but for whatever reason, Google systems are not accepting it. And so like the forum is like the only way to help troubleshoot and get through some of these like very difficult things, because I don't think support would even be able to help them through it. So it's like escalating, kind of identifying the issue. And like our job is to make sure that like they've done all things possible before escalating. And so like even with suspensions, like it almost feels like, a lot of these people, like they have no choice but to come to the forums to get unsuspended because they file their appeals, and then they might do it 2 times and they fail and they have no choice but to come to the forum and have us take another look. So really we're supposed to look at everything, kind of make sure everything's accurate. And then if we, notice something, kind of help them identify it. And then from there we can do the escalation and then help them get reinstated.
Okay, so suspensions and verifications is a newer thing, and that is that also re-verifications or just first-time verifications?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was a newer thing. It's always bad. Well, the video verification is somewhat new to Google, I would say, over the last couple of years, because it was always postcard or phone number or email, and then this whole video verification. I mean, it's helped a lot with fraud, so it's really good. But then it's also like a really big pain for some of these small businesses. And then that's where like even bulk verified accounts become even more important because if you like I work with a lot of brands, these marketing directors don't even know like an employee to call to even ask them to do a video
Hmm.
verification. So like helping big brands get bulk verified has become like a big core service that we've been providing. So to make sure that like they can bypass this video verification because how are they going to do it? Especially like a fast food chain, all these like big chains, they won't be able to have employees do it.
Yeah. Talk to me about that bulk verification process. How does that differ from just verifying one profile?
Yeah, so I think like it sounds like, oh, okay, I have these 10 listings, let me get them bulk verified. But it really doesn't work like that. You actually have to be bulk verified. It's a status. So once you're considered bulk verified, and it's basically by the user account. So like whatever account, and then that email has to be associated with all locations. And typically it's done inside of a group. And so once you have that status, every time you go to create a new listing, you should be able to bypass the video verification. You actually might still get like an email verification or phone verification option, and then you can get through that, but it's way easier than doing a video verification.
Okay. Did you say there were requirements there? Do you have to have a certain amount of locations or anything else?
Yeah, it has to be 10 or more. And you can't be a service area business. It has to be location based. And then there's other requirements like you have to have a landing page for each location. They have to they do some type of audit on your website and everything has to match up. So if you have 50 locations and you have 49 landing pages, then you don't get bulk verified until you can actually make sure that you actually have 50 landing pages that match the 50 Google business profiles. So they match everything up. So sometimes it's easy to get somebody bulk verified and other times it can take months.
Interesting. Okay. No, I didn't know that actually. Let's jump into reviews because obviously this is a huge topic regarding Google Business Profile. This is a lot of how we rank, how we convert. Um, First, talk to me about what your company does in particular with reviews. Do you guys have an automation, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, so we do have a dashboard that pulls in reviews from OpenTable, DoorDash, Grubhub, apartments.com, pretty much like 60 different websites. So any industry, any significant industry. And then Google, of course. And then our users are able to like respond to reviews. We do track deleted reviews. So if something gets deleted, after scraping like the Google API, we will be able to identify if it's been deleted. And then we help like our clients, like if they have a negative review that they need to get rid of, like we'll help them through that process. Or if they get like review attacks, we kind of guide them through like, hey, let's just flag it right now and then see how that goes. But I'll be honest, Google's systems got so much better at removing reviews when you flag them. So, I mean, first step, flag the review. And typically, like, if you can even get like a couple local guides to flag with you, like two or three, I'm noticing that they do get removed if there's a clear violation. So, like, let's say you have a review with like no comments, that's going to be harder. But if you can show a pattern where like you have a social media link that like kind of attacks your business, which caused you to have an influx of negative reviews, and you can kind of connect the dots, you can use that, go through support and or an escalation in the forums and kind of get through getting some of those deleted. But yeah, I mean, everything's a little unique. But they're like, you know, I do notice that like without even me flagging, sometimes I get emails where Google systems just say, we've removed this review because their AI systems are just getting better at detecting what's against policies.
Yeah. Okay. So you've probably seen then much less review fraud then in the past few years or so because they've been doubling down.
I don't know about the fraud part as far as people buying reviews and stuff. I think that still happens. I'm curious. I do see like people mentioning that they're noticing like those review fraud tags where they're saying, oh, we're noticing suspicious reviews. I haven't seen it. I actually like know a couple businesses that like engage in buying fake reviews and I check their profiles often,
Mm.
but they don't have anything on there. So I'm curious to see how that whole thing is going to evolve. It's still I think it's still new, but I think Google's just going to get better at it, and their systems are just going to keep learning. And as they keep learning and evolving, I think we'll notice it getting better. And then I don't know, hopefully review fraud will, I don't think it'll stop. People will always find ways to get through to it, but I mean, maybe we'll see less of it.
Interesting. Talk to me about dealing with one-star reviews. You mentioned this a little bit, but let's say it's an actual legitimate one-star review. How do you deal with those?
I mean, the first step is flagging it, right? So, and like sometimes I'll tell a client, like, I don't really see a clear violation here. Or
Mm,
like, or in the forums, if somebody like posts something and they're like, this is not our customer, just because the name doesn't actually match, like, a customer that that doesn't mean Google's going to remove it. So, because people can use alias names so they're never looking at the user account name. So businesses always do that. They're like, but I never dealt with this. I don't know this person's name. But that's not the point. The point is, what are the comments, and is there a clear violation that Google can identify? Otherwise, you're not getting it removed.
interesting. Okay, so what would be a clear violation?
And a former employee leaving a review, if you can help identify it. And then it's weird because sometimes like they'll say I work there, but Google still didn't like flagging it. You would think they would be able to remove it, and it doesn't. But if you go to support, or if you like escalate in the forums and you provide a pay stub and you can correlate that employee actually did work for you, then you'll get it removed. So like showing proof really matters, or like social proof. Like if you could, I've done it before. I've helped a few people in the forums where they were able to go on social media and like show that the people that were leaving reviews are connected on Facebook. And
Hmm.
so that was their friends and family leaving negative
Uh,
reviews. And so because of that correlation, and I could, like explain that to Google support, we were able to get them removed. So, I mean, it takes a little bit of effort and creativity, but like people, they hate getting negative reviews. And if like they will like do the work to like show the proof, then it is possible. But I mean, when it's that one or two, or there's no comments, or like there's just no way you can actually prove it, it's like move on, generate some more like positive reviews, and just take your 4.9 stars. I don't know, people
yeah,
get really emotional about that 1 star.
yeah. No, I was gonna ask, does it even really matter? I mean, if you still have like a 4.7, 4.8, like does it? Should you even spend the time?
I always just tell people like reply and just say, hey, you know what? I don't recognize that I've ever done business with you. I would love to help you. Can you reach out to us? Or, I mean, it's all about the way that you're going to reply to the review. And then at the end of the day, like anyone looking, they're going to ignore that review. It's not going to matter. You're still at 4.7 stars. And then, reviews help your rankings regardless whether they're negative or positive. So just getting another review, just take it and move on. It's all about how you respond to it.
Yeah, definitely. I would assume that everyone that's looking at the profile that might become a customer, they're gonna check they're gonna check the reply along with the review. So they see that, hey, no, we never worked with you, or hey, this is an ex-employee, or this is like an ex-girlfriend, but whatever it is, then I would assume that they would be understanding and just be like, oh, okay, well that actually makes sense then. And it almost
Yeah.
makes you even more trustworthy because I think you've seen some stats on this as well, that people actually don't trust five-star businesses as much as like a 4.7 or 4.8,
Yep.
because it seems like a little fishy. It's like, how are like you've got all good reviews, like there are things just bound to go wrong with businesses and with people. So it's
Or if
kind
you're
of
getting like bursts of reviews at one time and then you kind of go stale, like people catch on to that. But I will say that there is like a disturbing trend where businesses are getting like, you know, bombarded with negative reviews. And then, how there's that like chat feature now where you could do like WhatsApp or text, and then they're getting solicited for like bribery, like, hey, pay us so we're not going to remove your reviews.
and is that spam or is that legit?
Like a lot of times you'll see the numbers from Pakistan or like a different
Yeah.
country. And it's just they're like, and I've actually brought this up to Google where I'm like, can't you guys look back at like the logs and the chats to see if they're actually getting solicited? So it's something to think about. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like businesses are like getting attacked because they're using this feature, and then they're getting taken advantage of. But I did a LinkedIn post on it. It's like the best thing you can do is like, do not engage. Do not even respond. Don't give them like one response, because as soon as they see that they got you emotionally involved, they're going to keep doing it, and they know that you're going to be scared, and eventually you're going to pay.
Yeah, yeah. Would you still recommend, because I see mixed opinions on this, and a lot of people do get spam with that chat feature. Do you still recommend companies do turn on that chat feature?
Yeah, I do, because like I just say like I tell my clients, I'm like, listen, just try it. Let's see how it goes. And if it gets like really spammy and like most of your leads there are just like not authentic, because that's how it was in the past. Remember when we had it? I just tell them then like we'll turn it off. But I do think like Google's tracking it now in performance metrics. So like any type of engagement that they see, it might overall help your ranking. So, I mean, you don't want to turn off a feature that like might help your rankings. So, I don't know. I just say like try it.
Yeah. No, I recommend the same thing. And you might, it might be 80% bad leads or spam, but if we can still get 20% of that, that ends up being, quality, decent leads, then why wouldn't we?
Right. Like if somebody's like desperate and they need us like an emergency service and they have that chat option, they're like those type of businesses, I say most definitely. It's difficult for restaurants though. There's just so many channels, right? Like there's like open table and the people are calling. I mean, some of these restaurants I manage are getting like 2,500 calls a month. So it's like, it's crazy. So then adding that feature in there and then people are like trying to change their reservations. Like you really have to have somebody dedicated to like monitoring those.
I've got a niche question for you. Do you think, because I get asked this actually quite a lot. I'm in different pest control masterminds and SEO masterminds. A good amount of people ask me, does it matter if you get if you get keywords in your reviews? And then I'll ask you after this, keywords in review replies. So let's start with reviews. Should you get keywords in reviews? Should you ask customers to put them there? Or does that matter?
Okay, this is my theory on it. I think it's very industry relevant. So I did a case study where like my client wasn't like they specialize in like tableside Caesar salads. And so they had like 53 reviews with Caesar salad in it. And I couldn't get them to outrank these two restaurants that like had no mention of Caesar salad, nor were they even like known for their Caesar salad or like it was just like on the menu. So I thought it was so odd. So I just like kept digging and digging and digging. And what I came to realize is that my client's menu didn't have Caesar salad. It had Caesar kitchen. So there's multiple signals. And as soon as we changed the name to Caesar salad, the rankings went right up. Like they were number one. So do keywords matter? Yeah, they matter. But there's also different layers in the ecosystem that have to be in place for Google to trust it. So, I mean, I know that like restaurants, we have a lot of layers. Like we have booking systems, we have ordering systems, we have the menu integrations, we have menu highlights, photos. There's just so much more in the Google ecosystem for a restaurant and a bar. Even like everything they do, Google always pushes it to a restaurant category first. It's never going to be like to pest control.
Yeah.
So you have like your service, like I work with a restoration brand and like we don't have a lot of like layers to incorporate, right? Besides like maybe having like a booking link. But there's like and then adding services. So I do think though, like if you don't have like the service in the services area and you have it in the review, you might be less likely to rank. You can maybe still rank, but your chances of ranking higher are better when they match the service. And then they're probably also looking at like website, landing pages, service pages for industry based, like service based, like pest control and stuff. But personally, I don't find that Google's going into my restaurant clients' websites for like ranking purposes. Like I can get a client to rank on Google all within the Google ecosystem just by managing what I have access to in there.
Hmm. Really? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I helped a smoothie company with like, I don't know, like 50 locations recently. And it is more complex, objectively speaking. That there's so many things to add to the menu. There's other things within the profile. So I agree with you. It is more complex. That's interesting that you had the exact keyword in the reviews that didn't boost it though. or at least not much. It actually mattered more on the menu. So that's interesting. And then also the follow-up question that I wanted to ask is, how about review replies? I get asked this a lot too, because this is something you can control directly. You don't have to ask people and kind of solicit.
Makes no difference.
So do not care about review reply keywords.
Well, I don't know. Like in the age of AI, it might change because like everything's getting, indexed. So I think it like with AI, it might matter. Like so like I had in my newsletter where I said like we have to look at review replies a little bit differently than how we have in the past. Like as far as a ranking factor in Google Maps or local pack on desktop, no, I don't think it exists. But there is a possibility that with the as the models evolve, like if somebody's like, yeah, and they have like really great vegetarian options, like if you were to reply and say, thank you for mentioning our vegetarian options, we do have um vegan desserts as well. Maybe I would pick up on the fact that you have vegan desserts and maybe rank you for that
Mm.
search query. So I don't know. I haven't been able to like test that. Like I've tried it, but I haven't been able to surface it because typically there's always looking at like Yelp or TripAdvisor or like even like I always do like halal because it's like such a unique like keyword and there so but like there's I'm surfacing like halal websites that like I never even knew existed. Like I'm talking about like listing all the restaurants that are halal. And I was like, wow, okay. And like AI is servicing that. So, but I haven't been able to like have them clearly identify a review reply. But I think over the years as we keep testing, we might find stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same range with you. I don't think it really matters much. Might give you a tiny boost, but really I just like to give a organic, natural reply. It shouldn't sound forced.
But
It shouldn't like be stuffed with keywords or be like a whole page long. I've seen some companies do that. That's you just kind of lose your trust with the customer.
or just relying on AI for all the responses. Like we use AI for our responses, of course, but we change it. Like we don't like allow the systems to just automatically post the reply. Like, and when clients ask me about that feature, I'm like, I'm not ready for it yet. Like I'm not comfortable with it. So I'm not comfortable passing that along to, the users.
Yeah, definitely. No, no, that's something I recommend. Is ideally, if you have an office manager, if you can have a dedicated person, then they actually reply because they know what that was like. I mean, they know that Jackie was dealing with rodents or that Joe, needed a
Right.
termite job, whatever. So they can give a little bit more on that. I think that would help the customer relationship and maybe even decrease churn a little
Especially
bit.
with a negative review, right? Like you kind of have to understand, the context, what really happened, and then kind of like change your response accordingly.
Definitely, definitely. Something you were mentioning a little bit was the location pages. I definitely want to ask about that because I feel like all these things are kind of controversial. I feel like everyone kind of agrees on the business name, the category, the location. So we're getting into more nuanced stuff here, but I feel like this is the stuff a lot of people haven't heard. I'm curious to hear your opinion. Is how important is the page that you link to? A lot of companies will just link to their homepage, but should you link to a location page, and how much does that matter? And how much does the content on the page matter?
Yeah, I mean, I had like so when I'm dealing with a chain, of course the landing page has to be there.
Mm.
That does matter. But like when you have like one service-based company with one location, I just test it. Like it's just do some A/B testing, and I don't know. I think it really depends on search query. So like what it'll fluctuate. Like everything changes based on like what the user search intent is. So while the landing page could help with a specific search query, it may not with another. And like same thing with like your primary category. It's like you can have up to 10, but it's like especially with the restaurants, like which one should you pick? Which one has the most search volume and like what would fit best? So like if you're like a Japanese restaurant, like this is a good example. I have a lot of clients that are Japanese restaurants, but I make their primary category sushi because it just has way more search volume. And they can but then Japanese will just be a secondary.
Interesting. Okay. So you have to look at the keywords that people are searching and then kind of make that your primary category.
Yes, exactly. So it's a lot of testing and then just kind of looking at the rankings and like which keyword do you care to rank for more? And then kind of adjust.
Cool. Yeah, no. So I feel like most people know, at least people that are familiar with local SEO, primary keyword or primary category is definitely the most important. Do the secondary categories really matter? Should you go about adding all those, and do they give much weight?
Yeah, they matter a lot. So, what I find and like, I think it might actually be in my same study. I'll send you a link to a couple of them. But so I have an Italian restaurant that like serves flatbread pizza. And so like they have pictures of pizza on their Google business profile, but overall, are they known for pizza? No, they're not. It's like a fine dining Italian restaurant, for Bronzino, things like that. But when I didn't have pizza as a secondary category, they did not rank for pizza keywords.
Hmm.
They couldn't rank. As soon as I added pizza restaurant as a secondary category, they started ranking in like 3 and 4 positions. They're never going to rank number one. It's not their primary category. And if somebody's really like Google knows if somebody's searching pizza, they're gonna they're gonna surface anyone that has pizza in the business name and pizza as a primary category. So you have to kind of look at that. And that's why like you could do a lot like restaurants, especially like service-based companies, like they offer this one main service. It's easy. But when you're offering like for even on this Italian restaurant, I have to add steakhouse because I can't get them to rank for any steak related keywords without adding that category in there. So
Hmm.
categories matter so much.
Really?
It like
Okay.
literally will trigger search query intent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a little bit different for home services, at least like, my main one,
Yeah.
pest control. You have the main one, pest control service, but then there's not really too many others. I mean, there's bird control service. Some people do that. There's
Right.
like wildlife removal and service. Okay, kind of, but there's not many. So at least you're,
Well,
you're
like
saying in your scenario.
offer a ton of services. So
Yeah.
like a dental office, like should not just have dentists because they're probably missing out on a ton of search queries, like results just by not having their categories in there.
Awesome. Okay, so the additional categories are more important than the services, than the menu items. That's like kind of the 80/20.
Well, it's like the first layer, right? So like it's like business name, then your category, and then you have to fill in like it's a full optimization. Like don't just think like, oh, I got this and I got this. Why aren't I ranking for this? Like you have to like really make sure that it's like fully optimized because that Caesar salad keyword is like the prime example. It's like the menu name like triggered like even they had it in keywords, they had it photos, they had everything that they really needed, except the name didn't align. So it's interesting.
Can you rank without the keyword in the business name? Like, how important is that?
I mean, it depends on your competition.
Mm.
So like I'm doing a study right now for halal. Like so right like I can add a halal restaurant as a category. I can add it as an attribute. I can add it as a menu item and maybe like an image with the text. So I'm testing these things right now. And I can't outrank the businesses that have halal in their name.
Hmm.
So it's like I have to like kind of remove that and then kind of see how like my rankings fluctuate. But at the end of the day, if the keyword is in the business name, like you're the winner. But in AI mode, it might be different.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Okay, so
yeah.
keyword in the business name is obviously huge. Something I want to ask you regarding that is, should you add the city to the business name? I know some people do this. I kind of have mixed opinions about this.
I don't always recommend it. Like, you know when I recommend it is when they have so many locations and then they're like close by to, and it's like easy for us to identify the location, like, and it makes sense. Like brands that have hundreds of locations, like I'm like, it's easier. But as far as like helping them rank, like I don't know if there's a ton of search query and like volume involved in adding the city. Like it's more like near me or, people's proximity. So I don't know. I would say like look at search volume for like what you're, and to see if there is any like half the time you look at search volume for a keyword you're trying to track on a rank tracker and there's none. So why are you focused there, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then what about photos? I hear some mixed opinions here as well that you just need like 10 really good photos, or should you just completely
Mhm.
stack it and keep adding more?
Add photos. I think adding photos is like the like new 2025 like game changer. Like I don't know how long, maybe even sooner, but um like when if you go through Google Maps, And again, I'm going to refer back to restaurants because like everything shows up in the restaurant ecosystem a lot easier. It's like easier to identify things. But um, like I looked up live music, and then Google's AI inside the Google Maps app was recommending like jazz night, karaoke, live, I don't know what else. There was a few other categories. And so when I was looking to see like what are they going to recommend, there is no there is a live music category, but there was another thing that they had in there. I was like, there's no category for this. What are they going to show me? And they pulled all of it from like photos, the reviews, if somebody mentioned like live music in the reviews, or like the AI description of the business might say they're known for having like, jazz music or live music events. So like, and then they were like ranking restaurants that had no mention of like live music in the reviews or anything, but they had a photo that kind of gave the conception that there was like a karaoke night,
Wow.
like a microphone. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's powerful. Like, so photos really do matter.
Yeah, no, and I forget the tool. It might be Google AI Lens or something like that, where Google shows very clearly it understands what's in the images. So, if you take
Yeah.
a picture of a basketball hoop, it'll say, "Hey, this is a basketball hoop. We understand this is a basketball hoop. Okay, this seems like a player. This seems like a court." It understands what's in the photos. So, that's kind of what you're referring to. And then a
Yep.
follow-up question.
Auto are just getting better and better, and and like you'll just start seeing them making these like recommendations, or people also ask, and all that's coming into play. And a lot of it, and photos has always been a thing. Like when my restaurant clients have like a lot of burgers, and then like at the top of the photos, like how they have like burgers, whatever, and you can click on it and see all the like images of the burgers. Like that's a ranking factor because I actually went and tracked the keywords that I saw within the Google Business like Maps account under reviews and those terms. And I realized like, okay, you can rank for these keywords if Google sees it.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's part of optimizing for keywords is actually just having a photo of the thing, which is again, it's a little bit harder with home services, but with restaurants, I'd assume that's fairly easy.
Right. Oh, like even med spas, like lip fillers, if you just show
With
before and afters of like lips, boom, you don't rank better. But of course, you're going to want to make sure that you have that service checked off. It's actually a predefined service, and you're in the med spa category and all that. So you need to make sure all the other layers are there too, so you can really rank.
Yeah. What are your thoughts then on optimizing photos? That there's tons of different things you can do. I mean, I see people geotagging, changing the title of the image, adding the keyword on the image, and their branding on the image. Like, I there's just so much you can do here. What are
I
what are your
don't know,
thoughts?
like obviously geotagging doesn't work. I don't think the title of the photo matters. I don't know. I don't know how, I wouldn't even. Maybe I could test that. I've never tried testing really that, but I just think Google's, smart enough to know and like understand what the image is without us even having to put any overlay text or anything. And I mean, just like you said, like the Google Lens, like you can right click, like and Google will tell you exactly the description, and sometimes they even give you the location of where that image is. So I don't know if really like any of that all matters. Just have like really high quality, professionally done photos because that's what seems to like be prioritized within Google Maps on the overviews page and things like that, or in your menu highlights or in your like reviews. So just making sure you have photos. And I do think like photos from customers can help a lot. Like even with your rankings, they might even rank better than you adding the photos.
Okay, so you don't have to worry too much about optimizing the photos, but just more so actually get good photos.
Just get the photos and make sure that like Google can visually see and understand the service that you're trying to provide. So if you're carpet cleaning, show your guys doing carpet cleaning, and or if you're like a plumber, show yourself fixing, sinks, different sinks, bathrooms, kitchens, whatever it is. Just show the photos and keep adding it. I think the more signal you provide to Google through photos, through your optimizations, through the attributes, then if they can clearly identify and match you with that search query, it's going to help you rank.
Yeah. Something I recommend for home services, which again, it might be a little bit different for restaurants, but always having, a technician in the photo or someone similar that to show, and that's also for conversions that people can kind of connect and people want to buy from people. People want to connect with people. So to see the technician doing the job, he's pulling up in the truck. He's I don't know, spraying the link.
Like if it's pest control and they have the sprayer or whatever, like Google's going to be able to identify that, know that you're, you know, for pest control. So yeah, anytime you can, like clear, like, so just having a technician in the photo, like maybe not so much, but having some equipment with it, I think goes a long way.
For sure. And then what about videos too? Do you need to have videos or does that help much?
So like the most difficult part is like getting the clients to even send you content.
I know.
So like if I tell my clients like whatever you send me, I'll post it for you. So and I try to encourage them to just like use their phones. Like don't overthink it, just take some good footage, take a couple videos, send some photos. I actually have like one client that's a restoration brand and they have to document all the photos for insurance. And so I realized like their system, it's all in their system. So now like I encourage them to like export the PDF and then I literally take that job and my team will create a video of all the photos. So it's kind of like the process. So from the beginning till the end, and then we've been posting that. So I'm curious to see, we just started doing that. So I'm curious to see if the like video montage is going to be as effective as just putting the one photo in.
Interesting. And yeah, that's like kind of ties into what I was going to ask is, do you need to update that regularly? Like I see some people say that you need to post photos every week or every month, you need to stay active.
Well, just we schedule them and we try to like, it depends on the client. Like if they're willing to give, you know, a lot of content and they have a lot of jobs, it's just a matter of us scheduling it. We don't edit much of it anyway. So we just tell them like send what you have or like send a bunch so it like will last me 6 months or something like that. And then I'll decide how many I want to schedule out for you.
For sure. What are your thoughts on Google Business Profile updates? Or I think they actually recently renamed it to Post. Um, I've seen some people actually. I don't. I won't name them, but some of the top people in local SEO I've seen, they say I've just given up on Google Business Profile posts. I stopped doing them. Not really a fan. I haven't seen anything from them. What are your thoughts on updates slash posts?
So I do think that it'll make a comeback. And the reason why I think that is because they're featuring event posts for restaurants.
Hmm,
And typically, like I said, they always start with the restaurant category. But I think that we're going to start to see, like, if you have an offer or if you have an event, they might be featured like within your brand search. Um, but like overall, now they're pulling in all these social media. So it's like you're still getting that social, like the social posts pulled in if you're posting on your social media accounts. So I don't know. I use posts a lot just because like for the events, I do think that they work very effective. And there I had some clients where even like the offer posts worked like really great. Like cuz people would be driving there in their driving directions and they would be offering like birthday packages and then they could sell like 3 birthday packages that day. So do they convert? Yes, most definitely. I just think like a lawyer throwing a post up, like I don't know how well that's you can't really measure that, right? But at the end of the day, it's engagement, it's dwell time. So I always just say do it. Like you always have to just do all the right things, best practices. You never know when Google's gonna like update their, algorithms and put more weight towards something. And then honestly, we don't know how AI mode is gonna work. They're indexing everything. So I would say like don't ditch the posts. Like keep them in there because you might be able to tell AI something about your business that's not within your your attributes or your category.
Yeah. Where do you think the future of local search is going? I've seen that number one, ChatGPT is pulling more and more from Google Business Profiles. I think they're showing more like Bing Places. Now they're actually showing some Google Business Profiles. There's some merging of that data. Do you think local search is going to stay on Google and will it be AI mode? How do you think that will progress and advance?
I do think local search is going to stay on Google because they have all the rich data
Yeah.
and they have like API integrations. They've just like built this like incredible ecosystem and they're really good at it. I don't know. If they lost local search, it would be crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
like it would be crazy. But like in Apple Maps is to me like they do have potential, but they just like they take too long. Like there's a lot of like support issues. Like I recently had the Apple Maps just launched where they're like have the order links. And then all of a sudden my clients are calling me because they're sending them to DoorDash and they want their order links in there. It took me like 2 months to get their order links inside Apple Maps. And it like there was like a technical glitch and I had to work through customer service. It was just like really, really difficult and it's just like so annoying. You don't have those kind of problems with Google Maps. Like you just it's all the data is like more authentic, it's more like reliable. And then they built that like local guides program
Oh,
where like you're not a verified business. If Google will still rank you, like it doesn't matter. Like if you're getting reviews, like there's a local deli down the road from me that always shows up. And like this is how I discovered Popular Times was a ranking factor because they were always so busy at this one time. And no matter what, they ranked like at this one specific time for lunch. And they're not verified. They even barely had like categories listed, but people left them reviews and like that Popular Times feature just like got them ranked.
really?
Yeah.
Popular? Can you manipulate that? I don't. Or that's just
You know what? Like I thought about it. You might be able like like let's say you're at a shopping center and the business like next door to you is a little bit more busy and you moved your map pen over to their I'd like would that make Google think that you're more busy? No.
yeah. Huh.
I hadn't never tested that. That's like, but I did think about that. But you're always gonna notice a boost in rankings if Google knows in real time that you're busier than usual.
Okay, cool. Got it. I wanted to go back to suspensions because I feel like we didn't totally cover that. What are some of the biggest reasons you've seen for profiles getting suspended?
Um, I think like a lot of people just come to the forum and they're like, I didn't do anything. I've been open for 12 years.
Hmm,
Why am I suspended? I think Google's just like enhancing their AI models and maybe like scanning and whatever it is that they're doing. Just may trigger a business or a whole category to go through like let's see if there's a lot of let's get rid of the spam in this category and like clean it up. And then they just kind of like knock a bunch of businesses out. And like in a way, it's not a bad thing, right? Like spam fighting has become less of a thing, I've heard from other experts, because a lot of people are getting suspended and just like they can't verify or they can't get unsuspended. They don't have the right documents. So that's a good thing. But I think in general, like it's just them cleaning up specific categories. And then some categories are a lot more sensitive, like locksmiths and garage doors have like a lot of spam. And so getting those guys reinstated takes a lot more effort than getting a restaurant or a shopping center or like any other type of business unsuspended. Like I'll notice like certain categories can get themselves unsuspended through the appeal process, but then like a locksmith will almost always get denied and have to come to the forum.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of times it's just happening randomly. There's nothing like. Is there anything that can prevent
Some
that
people
happening?
telling us, hey, like they're not really saying, but I mean, this is just the pattern that like we'll notice. And it's like, oh, I see a lot of threads coming from locksmiths today. Oh, I see a lot of threads coming from the garage door guys today. So it's like Google did something in that category that like did a scan, but like, and then they're like, okay, I didn't do anything, but there is a violation. There's something that triggered the suspension. So it could be like you have no website, your landing page or your website data doesn't match your Google business profile. Your business, maybe your business name. I don't know if that triggers the suspension, to be honest. It could, if it's super spammy. Like mismatched categories, your business description, whatever it is, or like showing your address. I don't know, whatever. Like it's just having your service area further than 2 hours. Like sometimes people don't realize like you can't get unsuspended if your service area listed is like beyond the 2 hour distance. So it's just kind of going through all that, fixing it, and like kind of advising that business owner, like, okay, fix this, checking their website, making sure everything's in sync. Or maybe Google just can't recognize that business through third party sources. It's like, so they think there's like a high level of spam for that business, but it could just be a small business owner that really never really invested in marketing, right? It's like referrals and they're getting their Google leads and they've been happy for the last 20 years.
Wow. Okay. So it seems like it really all comes down to trust and also some owner activity as well. That we should fill out the profile completely. We should be pretty active on it. I guess you were kind of hinting at that, but does owner activity play a role? Like, do you have to be checking the profile every so often and be updating it?
I'm sure that does play a role in the trust factor. So yeah, it's like, can Google trust that that you're managing your profile, that you really do exist? Like, yeah, I would say that is a good point. Not replying to reviews, not updating your data, never putting like that could be a signal to Google, like, hey, do we trust this business? We can't find them on Yelp. We can't find them on Angie's List. Uh, a lot of small businesses don't even have like websites. They might link to a Facebook page. And so when you have that in place, you're just going to get suspended.
Okay, cool. So you have to
Which
make sure to optimize.
did, right? Like if you could prove to Google that you exist and but even though you don't have all these other things in place, but then I think the chances of you getting suspended again down the line might be a little uh greater too for you because you
Yeah.
don't have that foundation that Google can trust you.
Yeah. No, I'm sure reviews play into that as well. That a company with 1,000 reviews is much less likely to get suspended than one with 10 reviews because that's kind of votes for.
And you'll never really see a business get suspended that has like driving directions, website clicks. Those kind of signals are like really big for Google. And so that's why you don't see like restaurants getting suspended because there's so much activity, there's so much engagement. But then you have these service-based companies where nobody's driving to them and like are, maybe calling, but that's about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's super signals oriented of like, how are people interacting with the profile? Are people interacting with it at all? Are you interacting with it yourself as the owner? Okay, cool.
Right.
All good stuff to know. We'll start to wrap up here. I've got one final question for you, Claudia, which is, and I'd like to ask all my guests this, is what is your final message to maybe local business owners or local marketers? What do you want to tell them? What do they need to know?
A lot of people always ask me like, after they get suspended, should I not touch my profile? I'm so scared. Should I just like not do anything? I think that's wrong. You should be engaged on your Google business profile. Anytime Google enables a feature, I think you should try it. Anytime there's like another layer where you can clearly tell Google what it is that you do, I think that you should, give it a try, do all your optimizations, do all the best practices, and then just be in it for the long haul.
Awesome. Love that. Cool. Well, Claudia, this has been a great show. Where can people find you and your company?
reputationarm.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn at Claudia Tomina. You can search my name. I'm always giving really good tips on my posts and like discussing some of those ranking factors. And you can subscribe to my newsletter on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I totally vouch for Claudia. She's been putting out a lot of good content, so definitely go follow her on LinkedIn. So cool. Those links will be in the description. And then anything else you'd like to plug or promote?
I am launching a new site and our new UX for our SaaS soon. So follow me on LinkedIn and I'll announce that shortly.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this has been such a great show. I've learned a lot from you, Claudia, and thanks so much for coming on. Of
Thanks, Damien. Thanks for having me.
course.